has to be Miss Potential the movie. Sheesh, Will sure does know how to pick them, don't he? What's up, guys? This is Courtney, one half of the President Deconstruction here, and I'm bringing you my super late review for Gemini Man. Gemini Man came out in 2019, and it stars Will Smith, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Clive Owen, and it's a action movie. I guess that's the best kind of term that I can use. It's a high concept action film about Henry, who's played by Will Smith. He's up there in age assassin. He's 51. They make note of his age. Who's on the verge of retirement, and then after he does so, he's basically chased down, and there are attempts on his life by a younger clone of himself. Yeah, this is one of those films. But however cheesy that may or may not sound to you, it was a concept to me when I started seeing trailers for the film that pulled me in. And I wanted to see the film, but I just wasn't sure about it. I'll get into why in a little bit. But this is a film directed by Ang Lee, and it didn't do all that well. And the reason why is because the film is mostly forgettable. Even while watching the film, I came up with a really good intro for the video, and I forgot it by the time the movie was over with. And it was in reference to something that happened in the film. But it's mostly forgettable as far as the plot and the script and the story goes. The performances are actually pretty good. Will Smith pulls double duty as Henry and Junior, the clone. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is good as always. Clive Owen, he has like a small, his role isn't really that prominent as far as speaking lines go, but he does a pretty good job with what he's given. However, just the story just wasn't there. And it makes sense when looking up details on the film. It was apparently, kind of developed and conceived in 1997. And it's been in development hell for 20 years. One of the main reasons why, though, is because of the technology wasn't there to make the film. They knew that they wanted to do like the whole actor facing themselves. During that time, the script got rewritten a few times, and there was a bunch of actors that were apparently attached to do it, and then they weren't. And after watching the movie, you can tell that it wasn't really the technology that was the problem. It was the script that needed more work, unfortunately. Now, that's not to say that the effects and the technology are great, because I think it's shot in like really high frames per second. I think it's 1240 or something like that. But the CG is really, really noticeable, especially when it comes to the mocap and the CGI and the cloning effect done for Will Smith. They used him, and in behind the scenes stuff, you'll see him with the dots on his face and the tracking marks and things like that. So he's playing the younger version of himself, but the effects don't look good. They're really, really noticeable, as well as just in general. Like, there are fight scenes between Henry and Junior, and it's very clearly computer generated because the movements don't seem like they have any weight to them, and they're a little too fast and too snappy, and it just looks a little video game-ish. So that's a really noticeable thing. But the main problem with the film that I have is like the story and the script. This had potential. It was missed potential. Filmento has a really good anatomy of a failure video on their channel regarding this film. For me, shit didn't get interesting until like the last 15 minutes of the movie. So we meet Will's character, we kind of see him. There's a moment early in the film where he does a hit, but it's like he was kind of hesitant, but he shouldn't have been, because nothing bad happened, and he was hesitating because something bad could have happened. But then we kind of get this, him traveling and kind of running away from, Junior. I think this movie should have been more focused on Junior and Clive Owen's relationship, because they basically have this exposition dump of information and kind of character development and motivations and things like that at the end of the film, and then it just turns into a where the hell was this during the film? Like Clive Owen cloned Will Smith so he can have like a better soldier and whatever. And even then, his motivations are still kind of murky. Like I get it, Will Smith is basically the best at what he does. So clone him and then try to mold him into like an emotionless being instead of the person that he is. But then he says we can do after sending another clone after the group that doesn't feel pain and I guess doesn't have any of these uh, human qualities about him. Will ask the question, why not make an army of them? And then he says, yeah, why not? Because once you see that as soon as this dude popped up, I was like, that's another clone, and he's much better and much more elite and highly skilled than Junior and Henry. I'm expecting an army of these motherfuckers now, but it's only one. And technically, he is good enough to where it could have been only one of them. But at the same time, he's trying. Clive Owen's character Clayton ideally wants to make a bunch of these clones to use as weapons. So there are no soldiers getting sent over to war, coming back with PTSD, killing themselves, doing uh, all this bad stuff. But then it's like, why are we just now finding this out? Because before we didn't really know why he sent Junior after him, except that it was some type of like puberty type of thing. Like, oh, this is your darkness. You need to walk through that door to overcome it. Okay, I guess. Even earlier in the film, the moment that I forgot about the intro, the funny intro that I had, he's meeting up with another character's source, and they're talking about what Clayton is doing at the lab, cloning people, this and that, and he says, why not send a missile and destroy the lab? And the guy says, we are sending a missile. You're the missile. I don't. What? You mean to tell me instead of sending an actual missile to this base of operations, you're sending a person to. This is the potential that the movie wasted. Again, it's there, but it's just never fulfilled. It's actually quite unfortunate too and disappointing to see because again, this is a really cool concept on paper. You have a guy that's fighting his clone, trying to get him to realize the stuff that he's basically been brainwashed to do. The clone himself acknowledges that yes, he has these similar feelings about what he does, how he was raised, things of that nature. But it literally all happens in like the last 10 minutes of the film when it should have been more of the movie instead of us watching Junior chase Henry and this and that. We should be experiencing Junior's point of view, and Henry should be on the outside, looking in. We should be finding out this information along with Junior, not following Henry. And then, oh, Junior's here. We're finding out this information about Junior from people who are talking to Henry. So we need to see Junior going through this journey himself because even at the end of it, he starts to assimilate and become like a regular person, which I guess is one thing that he's kind of been longing for. And he's going to college and making friends and things of that nature. And it's just like, this should have been about Junior, not Henry. Like Henry should have been like the person, oh, this elite soldier. He's getting cloned, and then we should see from Junior's perspective, okay, hey, go hunt this dude down, go kill him, and then finding out, oh, this guy looks like me. Why? Why was I sent to go after him? Instead of pushing all that toward the end of the film. So it's a missed opportunity, and it's crazy to see or hear once you read that the movie was in development hell for 20 years because of technology and how they wanted to shoot the film when it really should have been a script that got more work. And even then, when they did finally make the film, the effects still weren't great. So it's really just a missed opportunity overall. Like I said, this is missed opportunity. The film, it's really forgettable, and it's mostly just gonna make you sit and wonder why they made the decisions that they made to make the film. But yeah, you can skip it. This is a completely skippable movie. Check out the Souple review that I did for Widows. Check out the other reviews on the channel. And as always, guys, I appreciate the support, whether it's 1, 5, 10, or 100 views. I'll catch up with you guys later.